Streaming on clickorlando.com, you're watching News 6 at 10 p.m.
Now on News 6, a night of big stories. Behind bars again, why deputies just rearrested the wife of suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez.
A Miami Heat player arrested by the FBI hours after playing against the Magic. How prosecutors say he is tied to an illegal sports betting ring.
A Lyft driver accused of shooting a passenger for slamming a car door. We ask Lyft to weigh in. But we start right now at 10 with breaking news. 9 children hurt in a car crash, all rushed to the hospital. Good evening, I'm Matt Austin.
I'm Ginger Gadsden. Those kids were all riding in the same car that ended up slamming into a tree. Troopers tell us their car was rear-ended on Raleigh Street, a little east of Campanella Avenue. That's in the Orla Vista area.
Now, fortunately, Orlando's Arnold Palmer Children's Hospital is only about 4 miles from there. Witnesses told your Orange County community correspondent Jarrell Baker some of the kids appeared to be as young as 4 or 5 years old. We will have his report coming up tonight at 11 o'clock.
Another top story tonight, back behind bars. News 6 was there as the estranged wife of suspended Osceola County Sheriff Marcos Lopez was arrested outside her home this afternoon.
Robin Severance Lopez is accused of somehow violating the terms of her bond in an illegal gambling case. News 6 community correspondent Troy Campbell is outside the Osceola County Jail, where she will spend the night.
The Osceola County Jail confirms that Robin Severance Lopez is being held here without bond. We're told that she's being charged with providing false information on her application for bail. 50-year-old Robin Severance Lopez arrested in front of News 6 cameras on Thursday outside her Osceola County home. The Osceola County Sheriff's Office says it was conducting an arrest warrant from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement.
She said, "Did you hear that Marcos Lopez's wife was arrested again?" And so we started reading about what had happened.
Jeremy Southern lives near Severance Lopez and saw the deputies outside her home on Thursday.
Anytime you got major police presence in the neighborhood, it's a little disruptive and concerning for sure.
The 50-year-old was first arrested in June as part of an illegal gambling investigation centered around her husband. A judge allowed her to get out on bond in July after proving the funds came from legitimate sources. Prosecutors claim Marcos Lopez used his office as sheriff to shield the gambling ring from 2019 to 2024.
We all talk about it. My neighbor and I have talked about it a couple times and are well aware of the situation. So I think just as a community, we keep tabs on what's going on with the situation.
And her attorney says she is set to go before a judge on Friday afternoon at 1:30. That's when it could be decided to transfer her to Lake County. But again, she is being held in Osceola County without bond. I'm your community correspondent, Troy Campbell, News 6.
Also developing tonight, a wild story out of the NBA as a current player and a Hall of Famer are both facing federal charges. The FBI says they are caught up in 2 different illegal gambling schemes. Miami Heat forward Terry Rozier was arrested in Orlando just hours after the first game of the season against the Magic. Your Orlando community correspondent Mike Valenti is outside the federal courthouse.
Nearly 12 hours after he was arrested here in Orlando, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier is out of federal custody, having put up his $6 million Florida property as collateral for bond. I'm News 6's Mike Valenti, your Orlando community correspondent, and Rozier's arrest is part of a sprawling illegal gambling investigation that has rocked the NBA. The NBA placed Rozier on leave Thursday, the same day we read through an indictment that names Rozier and 5 co-defendants in an alleged illegal sports betting scheme. Prosecutors claim the defendants used non-public injury and lineup information to place fraudulent bets worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Rozier walked into court Thursday wearing a Charlotte Hornets hoodie. It's the team he used to play for, and the indictment alleges that when he was on the Hornets in 2023, he told a co-defendant he was going to take himself out of a March 23rd game that, according to prosecutors, prompted co-defendants and co-conspirators to bet on Rozier to underperform relative to the odds makers' betting lines. Rozier did end up taking himself out of that game after just 9 minutes, well short of his league season average at the time. And authorities say Rozier then counted the winnings with the co-defendant to whom he gave the information. Rozier's attorney, Jim Trusty, says his client is not a gambler, and he calls this a, quote, non-case. Now, if convicted on the charges of conspiracy to commit money laundering and conspiracy to commit wire fraud, Rozier could face up to 40 years in prison. I'm your Orlando community correspondent reporting outside the federal courthouse, Mike Valenti, News 6.
Now, while the DOJ's indictment mentions the Orlando Magic, the team tells News 6, quote, "We have no indication that any current players were involved, and we have not been contacted by the authorities." Sports director Jamie Say will dig deeper into this a little bit later. Portland Trailblazer head coach and Basketball Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups was also arrested in a separate gambling investigation, this one involving illegal poker games with ties to the mafia. The NBA announced today Billups and Rozier are both on immediate leave. Now, if you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction, there is help available. The Florida Council on Compulsive Gambling offers a 24/7 toll-free helpline. Call 888-ADMIT-IT. Again, that's 888-236-4848.
Another big story tonight is the weather. You might see a little breeze out there as we look at our Launch Credit Union port camera.
Yeah.
But really, it doesn't tell the story how it feels out there, how it's gonna feel.
Yeah. Put my finger in the air and you could just it's nipping.
Coming out of the north.
Oh, exactly. And that's exactly what I
Yeah.
was going to say. It feels so good out there.
It is, and that's good because it's related to this in a sense that all that cooler air that's coming and even cooler air by Halloween, it's going to send Melissa packing, at least from a Florida perspective.
Beat it.
Couple of things here, they're kind of all working in tandem. Now, this first round of cooler air, this is just the appetizer to the main chorus that'll be coming by Halloween. Right now, we're back to the mid-60s in Mount Dora. We're at 63 degrees in Ocala, Palm Coast. Good evening. A nice, refreshing 62. We're at 74 in Melbourne right now. Latest on Tropical Storm Melissa. It is a disheveled mess tonight. It is going to stay that way for the next couple of days. But you see here, the path wants to take it and strengthen it big time. Some of these icons are in the way. It's just hard. It's all just jumbled up against each other because there's just it's moving so slow. But it's expected to rapidly intensify into a major hurricane by the second half of this weekend. We're going to talk much more about this track at 11 o'clock because we're going to get a fresh one from the Hurricane Center, and we'll have it for you right here. We'll talk more about the cooler air coming at about 10:19, guys.
All right, Jonathan, thank you.
Well, our other top story, the latest track of Tropical Storm Melissa. That is going to be more ahead when Jonathan gets into the weather. Well, a man is in the hospital after his Lyft driver, after deputies say that Lyft driver shot him for slamming his car door. Your Orange County community correspondent, Jarrell Baker, was out there where it all happened earlier tonight.
I'm your community correspondent, Jarrell Baker, here right off a street where a man is now in the hospital after he was allegedly shot by his Lyft driver. Now, authorities say that it happened right here off of Spring Villa Circle in Orlando. Now, I spoke with the mother of the two brothers who did not want to go on camera. She says that the victim is still in the hospital and they have another surgery scheduled for tomorrow. Now, she says that the family is devastated. A neighbor who gave video surveillance to the Orange County Sheriff's Office didn't want to share the video with us, but gave me a look. Now, the footage showed that this happened around 5 p.m. on Wednesday. It's also detailed in OCSO's report. Now, according to that footage, a blue Hyundai SUV pulls up to the 7300th block of Spring Villa Circle as both men get into the vehicle. Now, the brother told law enforcement that they got into a verbal argument with the driver, Rolando Rovia Savalas, for slamming his door. Now, they told deputies that the driver told them to cancel the ride while threatening to shoot them. Now, shortly after they left the vehicle, the video shows the driver allegedly opening fire as the passengers tried to run away. Now, OCSO responded and found one brother lying on the ground with gunshot wounds to his foot and his stomach, while the other was trying to help him. Now, Rovia Savalas faces 2 counts of attempted second-degree murder with a firearm. He's being held on no bond. Now, a Lyft spokesperson gave us this statement that the behavior described has absolutely no place in the Lyft community or our society. Our terms of service strictly prohibit weapons, and the driver has been permanently removed from the platform. Now, they went on to say that they have already reached out to the rider for support, and they're also working with local law enforcement as they investigate. Here in Orange County, Jarrell Baker, News 6.
New at 10 tonight, 911 calls from one of our top stories earlier this week.
I don't think anything's broken. It's just he just hit me off the bike. I mean, I'm really lucky that I'm safe and everything, but like my bike is just destroyed. I was crossing the street, and then he just was full speed. And he's been like chasing us around in his car the whole time too.
That call for help was made by a group of teens riding around on e-bikes in Ocoee. They say both of them were chased down by a couple over the weekend, and that driver hit one of the teens on purpose.
It's crazy.
That's great. Yeah, that's crazy time. Yeah.
It's not a reflection of your neighborhood.
No, it's not. We have a lot of nice people here.
Now, police say the teen was not seriously hurt. Ocoee police say the couple faced battery charges, with the husband also facing a criminal mischief charge.
Well, it's one of Central Florida's longest unsolved mysteries. Jennifer Kesse disappeared nearly 2 decades ago.
Tonight, her dad tells News 6 the case is not closed, but there is no truth to rumors spreading on the internet.
Just so people know, it does hurt. But we have coping mechanisms now.
Still, though, Drew Kesse says detectives are giving him new hope, the change that could finally bring them some answers.
Just into News 6, beautiful launch at the Cape. See what SpaceX sent up less than 30 minutes ago.
And some monkey business at Silver Spring State Park. How a kayaker says a group of monkeys made a splash and gave her quite a surprise.
You're watching News 6 at 10, live on a Thursday night. We're covering Dr. Phillips, Flagler Beach, and all of Central Florida. Hey, welcome back. Now on News 6, new hope in one of Orlando's longest missing persons cases could be happening. January will mark 20 years since Jennifer Kesse went missing in Orlando.
Yeah, no one has ever been arrested, but today her dad told News 6 investigator Louis Bolden that her case is no longer considered cold, and he has confidence in the investigation.
I'm investigator Louis Bolden. It's been nearly 20 years since Jennifer Kesse went missing in Orlando. It's been some time since I spoke with her father, Drew. I called him yesterday because there was a rumor floating around the internet that there was a break in the case. He confirmed that wasn't true. Today, he talked about the impact those rumors have on his family, and he says this case is not losing steam. He says it's gaining momentum. How are you feeling about the investigation today?
Never felt more positive in our lives about what's being done.
Nearly 20 years since his daughter Jennifer Kesse went missing, Drew Kesse says he has more confidence than ever in the investigation.
It's not cold anymore. They told us that directly. There's too much work to do, and it's fruitful work. It's meaningful work.
Kesse says for years they have had to deal with rumors floating about the case, and yesterday was no different.
Yesterday was a little crazy.
When someone posted on social media
that DNA had been found by FDLE and tested, and it turned out to be a construction worker at Jennifer's place that is in South America and is being extradited on Friday. This is totally untrue.
He says nearly 20 years later, those rumors still take a toll.
But it hurts. Just so people know, it does hurt. But we have coping mechanisms now.
Kessie went missing from her condo near the mall at Millennia in January of 2006. 2 days later, her car was found down the street at Huntington on the Green condominiums. Surveillance video was later released of someone parking the car. Kessie says at one point the list of people of interest in the case, including the person who was driving that car, was in the double digits, but no more.
They've been able, through their investigation, to whittle down the list of people of interest down to just a few. And that is great.
Kessie also says all of the DNA found in the case is being retested.
We may end up a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road and not have Jennifer. But we will truly know at that point that every single lead that came in prior and as the investigation is going on has been worked.
That was Lewis Bolden reporting. Now to the Space Coast, where SpaceX just sent up a Spanish communications satellite.
At launch, it lit up the sky.
1. Ignition. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go SpainSat NG2.
Again, the payload was a communications satellite. The liftoff went flawlessly at the Cape, but there was no landing tonight. SpaceX had to ditch the first stage in the ocean due to the orbit they needed to reach. This was its 23rd launch.
Have you seen this video on social media? One woman captured the moment monkeys went for a splash.
And it's raining monkeys.
Okay.
Kayaker says a group of rhesus macaques began leaping from the trees and into the water right around her. They were just hitting the water like sacks of potatoes.
Oh my God, that would hurt. This all happened at Silver Spring State Park near Ocala last week. She hoped to see the monkeys, but didn't expect this.
And I just was like totally flipping out, like, this is crazy fun.
Crazy fun. Okay, rhesus macaques are an invasive species first introduced to Florida's ecosystem by a tour boat operator in the 1930s, and they have thrived in this area ever since. Experts say it looks like the monkeys were just enjoying their time in the water. Why wouldn't you?
I've seen them do that once in a while. A tourist in a boat will catch them doing that.
That's
it's good
crazy.
stuff. I bet they're enjoying that weather like
Oh, my
we
goodness.
are. Meteorologist Jonathan Kagas, it doesn't get a lot better than this.
You know, it really doesn't. Yeah, if you like it on the warmer side, this is it because it's that comfortably warm air. You can really feel the difference between the lower 80s today and versus the lower 80s of the last couple of days. We wiped out that humidity behind a cold front that brought in that drier air. And again, right now we're hanging tight in the lower 60s in DeLand, 62 in the Villages. You can stay up to date with the forecast. If you want to get the latest models on Tropical Storm Melissa, download that free News 6 weather app. There's a bunch of stuff in there. You can send pictures our way. A lot of cool things in the News 6 weather app. High pressure overhead, at least moving in. There's the cold front from yesterday. Winds are going to start shifting out of the north and east. That'll bring in a little bit of extra moisture. I think we'll see a few of those higher thin clouds try to push through tomorrow, some of those wispy clouds in the sky. Otherwise, we're going to start things off a few degrees cooler than what we woke up to this morning. We're back to 54 in Denellen, 53 in Ocala, lower 60s in Kissimmee, Titusville. Good evening. We are back to 67, a little warmer along the Space Coast. Now tomorrow, another gorgeous afternoon. The humidity levels very, very low. It is nice and warm outside, though, comfortably warm by the afternoon. Dominant sunshine, although I do think it could be filtered out a little bit more with those higher clouds by the afternoon. Rain chances, though, 0%. That is going to be non-existent. Those clouds will pose no threat to rain. Here's the setup. Big cold front on the way. We're fast forwarding to next week. This is Tuesday. We're likely going to be dealing with a major hurricane close to Jamaica by that time. Cold front, though, is going to help protect the southeast corner of the United States and Florida. It's going to help to guide it out of the Caribbean and then kind of slam the door on the hurricane as it tries to get any kind of closer if it wants to. Again, that cold front's going to do a number on keeping it far, far away, at least the core, from Florida over the next few days. That cooler air spilling in also, it's going to be evident for Halloween. This is kind of a preview for you. I think we start things off on the 31st in the 50s, the afternoon. Talk about comfortable. We're in the low to mid 70s for highs on Halloween, 60s by the evening. Huge change of pace from where we've been in years past. Sunset, by the way, is at 6:40. So again, it should be feeling festive, by the time we get to Halloween, unless we see that front kind of slow down a little bit. But by and large, it looks like we're going to turn things pretty cool to close out October and to start November. Tropical storm Melissa, again, it's a mess. 45-mile-per-hour storm right now. It's going to meander around Jamaica into Haiti, eastern Cuba through the weekend and likely rapidly intensify into a major hurricane. Again, this one should stay away from Florida because of the cold fronts that will help keep it away. Look at the 7-day forecast. 20% shot for a few downpours on Sunday. Most of us are dry. The humidity does creep up a little bit, though. Big cold front comes in, guys, next week. Highs on Wednesday in the upper 70s, mid 70s on Thursday.
Cannot wait. All right, thank you, Jonathan. NYPD Pizza is shutting down one of its popular locations.
Sales are still strong, but they can't escape a troubling trend. Rent keeps rising way faster than inflation. Next at 10, the owner tells us how it's hurting all kinds of restaurants in our area.
I spoke with the CEO of NYPD Pizza. He says it's going to hurt to close this Metro West location tomorrow because they've been in the community for so many years. But he did say they faced so many challenges, and the rent hikes, that was just a nail in the coffin.
It's a slice they've been making for 2 decades.
Because we are authentic New York pizza, we are traditional, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel.
NYPD Pizza has grown in 5 locations across Central Florida, but in Metro West, you will notice a sign on their door.
How difficult was it to make that post?
Wow, that's emotional. Difficult.
CEO Paul Russo says they were faced with several challenges, leading them to close their Metro West doors on Friday.
Over the years, it was a combination of labor cost, vastly increased, but the nail in the coffin to say was doubling of the rent.
The difficulties are nothing new for some restaurants. Just last year, we highlighted beloved restaurant closures, dealing with not just rent hikes, but also high wages and food costs.
Some of that's due to inflation, some of it's due to the growth in Central Florida's economy. So there's increased, competition for these spaces.
Russo understands the need to adapt. They'll keep cooking just a little differently. Soon they will open their first small location in Winter Park, built around refocusing.
Because of the cost of rent. Also, it's because a lot of our business, which is 70% used to be dine-in, has reversed and it's majority takeout.
And although tomorrow is their last day to be open, they're still going to open like normal. However, they might stay open a little longer just in case any customers want to grab that last slice of pizza here. Reporting, I'm your West Orange County community correspondent, Tylisa Hampton.
Find all of tonight's stories plus breaking news on News 6 Plus.
It's free to download to your smart TV or streaming device. Have a great night.